Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the next thrilling episode of Legends of the Jews on Planetary Cow reading fairy stories for bedtime stories show thing that this is. Continuing the saga of the next chapter, we read of the holy book of you know, Raziel. Great wisdom was needed for building the ark, which was to have space for all the beings on earth, even the spirits. Only the fishes did not have to be provided for. Noah acquired the necessary wisdom from the book given to Adam by the angel Raziel, in which all the celestial and earthly knowledge is recorded. While the first human pair were still in paradise, it once happened that Samael, accompanied by a lad, approached Eve and requested her to keep a watchful eye upon his little son until he should return. Eve gave him the promise. When Adam came back from a walk in paradise, he found the howling, screaming child with Eve, who, in reply to his question, told him it was Samael's. Adam was annoyed, and his annoyance grew as the boy cried and screamed more and more violently. In his vexation, he dealt the little one a blow that killed him. But the corpse did not cease to wail and weep, nor did it cease when Adam cut it up into bits. To rid himself of the plague, Adam cooked the remains, and he and Eve ate them. Scarcely had they finished when Samael appeared and demanded his son. The two malefactors tried to deny everything. They pretended they had no knowledge of his son. But Samael said to them, "What? You dare to tell lies? And God in times to come will give Israel the Torah in which it is said, 'Keep thee far from a false word.'" While they were speaking thus, suddenly the voice of the slain lad was heard proceeding from the heart of Adam and Eve, and it addressed these words to Samael: "Go hence. I have penetrated the heart of Adam and the heart of Eve, and never again shall I quit their hearts, nor the hearts of their children, or their children's children, unto the end of all generations." Samael departed, but Adam was sore grieved, and he put on sackcloth and ashes, and he fasted many, many days, until God appeared unto him, and said, "My son, have no fear of Samael. I will give thee a remedy that will help thee against him, for it was at my instance that he went to thee." Adam asked, "And what is this remedy?" God, "The Torah, Adam." And where is the Torah? God then gave him the book of the angel Raziel, which he studied day and night. After some time had passed, the angels visited Adam, and envious of the wisdom he had drawn from the book, they sought to destroy him cunningly, by calling him a god and prostrating themselves before him, in spite of his remonstrance. "Do not prostrate yourselves before me, but magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together." However, the envy of the angels was so great that they stole the book God had given Adam from him and threw it in the sea. Adam searched for it everywhere in vain, and the loss distressed him sorely. Again he fasted many days until God appeared unto him and said, "Fear not, I will give the book back to thee." And he called Rahab, the angel of the sea, and ordered him to recover the book from the sea and restore it to Adam. And so he did. Upon the death of Adam, the holy book disappeared. But later, the cave in which it was hidden was revealed to Enoch in a dream. It was from this book that Enoch drew his knowledge of nature, of the earth, and of the heavens. And he became so wise through it that his wisdom exceeded the wisdom of Adam. Once he had committed it to memory, Enoch hid the book again. Now, when God resolved upon bringing the flood on the earth, he sent the archangel Raphael to Noah as the bearer of the following message: "I give thee herewith the holy book. that all the secrets and mysteries written therein may be made manifest unto thee, and that thou mayest know how to fulfill its injunction in holiness, purity, modesty, and humbleness. Thou wilt learn from it how to build an ark of the wood of the gopher tree, wherein thou and thy sons and thy wife shalt find protection. Noah took the book, and when he studied it, the Holy Spirit came upon him, and he knew all things needful for the building of an ark and the gathering together of the animals. The book, which was made of sapphires, he took with him into the ark, having first enclosed it in a golden casket. All the time he spent in the ark, it served him as a timepiece to distinguish night from day. Before his death, he entrusted it to Shem, and he in turn to Abraham. From Abraham, it descended through Jacob, Levi, Moses, and Joshua to Solomon, who learnt all his wisdom from it, and his skill in the healing art, and also his mastery over the demons, the inmates of the ark. The ark was completed according to the instructions laid down in the book of Raziel. Noah's next task was to gather in the animals. No less than 32 species of birds and 365 reptiles he had to take along with him. But God ordered the animals to repair to the ark, and they trooped thither, and Noah did not have to do so much as to stretch out a finger. Indeed, more appeared than were required to come, and God instructed him to sit at the door of the ark and note which of the animals lay down as they reached the entrance and which stood. The former belonged in the ark, but not the latter. Taking up his post, as he had been commanded, Noah observed a lioness with her two cubs. All three beasts crouched, but the young ones began to struggle with the mother, and she arose and stood up next to them. Then Noah led the two cubs into the ark. The wild beasts and the cattle and the birds which were not accepted remained standing about the ark all of 7 days. For the assembling of the animals happened 1 week before the flood began to descend. On the day whereon they came to the ark, the sun was darkened, and the foundations of the earth trembled, and the lightning flashed, and the thunder boomed as never before. And yet the sinners remained impenitent, and not that they changed their wicked doings during those last 7 days. When finally the flood broke loose, 700,000 of the children of men gathered around the ark and implored Noah to grant them protection. With a loud voice he replied and said, "Are ye not those who were rebellious toward God, saying, There is no God? Therefore he has brought ruin upon you, to annihilate you and destroy you from the face of the earth. Have I not been prophesying this unto you these 120 years, and you would not give heed unto the voice of God? Yet now you desire to be kept alive." Then the sinners cried out, "So be it. We are all ready to turn back to God, if only thou would open the door of thy ark to receive us, that we may live and not die." Noah made answer and said, "That ye do now, when your need presses hard upon you. Why did you not turn to God during all the 120 years which the Lord appointed unto you as the term of repentance? Now do ye come and ye speak thus, because distress besets your lives. Therefore God will not hearken unto you and give you ear, naught will you accomplish." The crowd of sinners tried to take the entrance to the ark by storm, but the wild beasts, keeping watch around the ark, set upon them, and many were slain, while the rest escaped, only to meet death in the waters of the flood. The water alone could not have made an end of them, for they were giants in stature and strength. When Noah threatened them with the scourge of God, they would make reply, If the waters of the flood come from above, they will never reach up to our necks, and if they come from below, the soles of our feet are large enough to dam up the springs. But God bade each drop pass through Gehenna before it fell to earth, and the hot rain scalded the skin of the sinners. The punishment that overtook them was befitting their crime, as their sensual desires had made them hot and inflamed them to immoral excesses. So they were chastised by means of heated water. Not even in the Not even in the hour of death struggle could the sinners suppress their vile instincts. When the water began to stream up out of the springs, they threw their little children into them to choke the flood. It was by the grace of God, not on account of his merits, that Noah found shelter in the ark before the overwhelming force of the waters. Although he was better than his contemporaries, he was yet not worthy of having wonders done for his sake. He had so little faith that he did not enter the ark until the waters had risen to his knees. With him, his pious wife Naamah, the daughter of Enosh, escaped the peril, and his 3 sons and the wives of his 3 sons. Noah had not married until he was 498 years old. Then the Lord had bidden him to take a wife unto himself. He had not desired to bring children into the world, seeing that they would all have to perish in the flood, and he had only 3 sons, born unto him shortly before the deluge came. God had given him so small a number of offspring that he might be spared the necessity of building the ark on an overlarge scale in case they turned out to be pious. And if not, if they too were depraved like the rest of their generation, sorrow over the destruction would but be increased in proportion to their number. As Noah and his family were the only ones not to have a share in the corruptness of the age, so the animals received into the ark were such as had led a natural life. For the animals of the time were as immoral as the men. The dog united with the wolf, the cock with the peafowl, and many others paid no heed to sexual purity. Those that were saved were such as had kept themselves untainted. Before the flood, the number of unclean animals had been greater than the number of the clean. Afterward, the ratio was reversed, because while 7 pairs of clean animals were preserved in the ark, but 2 pairs were unclean, were, were preserved. One animal, the reem, Noah could not take into the ark on account of its huge size. On account, on account of its huge size, it could not find room therein. Noah therefore tied it to the ark and it ran on behind. Also, he could not make space for the giant Og, the king of Bashan. He sat on top of the ark securely, like Paul Bunyan, and in this way escaped the flood of waters. Noah doled out his food to him daily through a hole, because Og had promised that he and his descendants would serve him as slaves in perpetuity. 2 creatures of a most peculiar kind also found refuge in the ark. Among the beings that came to Noah, there was Falsehood, asking for shelter. He was denied admission because he had no companion, and Noah was taking in the animals only by pairs. Falsehood went off to seek a partner, and he met Misfortune, whom he associated with himself on the condition that she might appropriate what Falsehood earned. The pair were then accepted in the ark. When they left it, Falsehood noticed that whatever he gathered together disappeared at once, and he betook himself to his companion to seek an explanation, which she gave him in the following words: "Did we not agree to the condition that I might take what you earn?" And Falsehood had to depart empty handed. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the next episode of the thrilling chapter of the section of the Reading Cow from Another World with a bedtime story of the legends of the Jews collected by our old friend Louis Ginsberg for our edification and knowledge of the Bible and what happened in the world before time, which, let's face it, you're never gonna read it on your own, so you'll have to come to me after all. Until next time, I, I, I'll see you. I'll see you later.